and welcome to the latest Craftmania Sunday Showcase. I'm Jamie and I'm going to be your host today. Now if you're new to our Sunday Showcase videos, if you haven't found us before, welcome. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to introduce you to a brand new product, and we have some lovely special offers for you as well. Now our special offers are only valid for 1 week and 1 week only, so all of the offers we'll be chatting about today do end at 5 PM on Saturday the 3rd of November 2018. Now if you are watching this video after then, don't panic. Some of the items may still be in stock in store or online, so do have a little look, and if you are stuck then don't hesitate to get in contact with us and we can certainly try and get them for you if we haven't got them at the current time. But before we worry about the future, let's delve in and actually look at what we have today, because I think you're going to absolutely love this. Now what we're doing is we're playing with a very mixed media product, but if you're new to mixed media, don't think, oh my god, I can't do that, that's not going to work, because I felt like that and I've absolutely loved it. It's a new world for me to play about in, and I think it's something that you're really going to be able to dress up and work with to fit in with your colour schemes and your themes and your styles, whether you're doing home decor or card making or scrapbooking. This really will work for all of you, so don't be alarmed just yet when we talk about the next stage of what it actually is. So what we're looking at is a paste, which is like a butter style cream that we load into these moulds. We actually pop it in using a spatula, or an old credit card would work, anything like that. But you just pop the cream into the stencil, or mould I should call them. I do keep saying stencil, so I apologise in advance because I do keep getting that wrong way. But we pop the cream into here and we leave it to dry. And then once it dries, it actually creates some lovely panels like this. Now the cream is actually white, and we'll be talking about how this one ended up coloured shortly. But to begin with, we need to talk a little bit about how long it takes to dry. So once you've put the cream in here, if you leave it alone, it will take roughly about 24 hours to actually set inside your mould so you can get it out without damaging it. If you're like me and very impatient, I have found a couple of ways that you can speed this up. You can heat it with a hairdryer. It doesn't bubble or react like some pastes do. It will actually take the heat from a hairdryer quite nicely, and it certainly helps speed up your time. But the best thing I found to do was actually pop a tea towel on the top of your radiator and pop this on top of that. Let it dry so it's touchable, and then every now and again just flip it over in each direction to help it actually get heat go through it, penetrate it, and help it dry. And if you do that, it should only take a couple of 3 hours. A lot of this will depend on how thick you put your paste into your actual mould. Obviously the thinner it is, the quicker it's going to dry. But if you can be patient and you're happy to wait till tomorrow, then do just leave it, and it will be absolutely fine to take out in roughly 24 hours, again depending on how thick you pop it in. Now talking about the thickness of popping the paste in the stencil, I've loaded one of my parts back into a mould so you can see what I mean by this. The moulds are actually designed that you can pop the paste in and scrape it off, and just the textured part will stay in the actual mould. But when you do that, it's very difficult to take the actual panel out of the mould. So I found that if you could leave your paste a couple of mil thick on the top, it makes it a lot easier to peel it out of the actual mould. So for instance, if you can see on this one, it literally is a good mil or so thick, but don't be afraid, do them as thick as you want to. The thicker they are, the easier they will come out, but of course it may take a little bit longer to dry. But when you are ready, you can literally just pull it straight out of your mould, and this is what you will end up with. Now, as you can see, this is beautiful. It's really delicate, it's really precise, and it's really deep as well, if you actually look at how deep the impression is that you've got on your panel. Now, the panels are really good because they're quite durable, and of course they're formable, so you can actually shape it to go around different items depending on what you wish to do with it. And it's also quite easy to cut as well. So if you do wish to trim it, to shape it to wherever you want to, a pair of scissors or a guillotine will easily shape it. And it's also quite nice to know that sometimes when you bring them out of the moulds, you may end up with parts around the edges of them that you may want to trim off. And that's, as I say, really easy to do with just any old pair of scissors. Now in this mould, I've actually been a bit cheeky. I decided that my paste, because it is white, it only is available in white, you might want to colour it. So if you'd wish to, I took a bit of my paste out, I put it on a tile, and I mixed in lots of different colours of Pixie Powders so that my actual paste was coloured. Now you're getting a bit of a sneaky peek here of one of the upcoming stencils or moulds we'll be looking at shortly. But this one is using lots of different colours of Pixie Powders, actually mixed in with a paste. Now I didn't do a very good job of mixing mine in, and you can see that I've got a few blobs from where the colours didn't quite get stirred in good enough. But that's good, because that's what it's about. We learn from our mistakes, and if you do it, make sure that you thoroughly mix it in. You could also try experimenting by popping little droplets of ink maybe, or paint into the paste instead of Pixie Powders, but I really like the Pixie Powder effect, and it gives it a bit more of a sheen as well. But whatever you wish to try with, do give it a little go, but just be wary to try with a small amount of your paste, just in case it affects your drying times or the consistency, or it has any issues when you come to heat it. But I personally didn't find that using my Pixie Powders. Now, talking of Pixie Powders, because of these are going to feature quite nicely in today's Sunday Showcase, these are one of your products that is on offer for you. So normally our Pixie Powders are £3.49 each, but we have them on offer this week for just £2.79. Now the colours I've focused on most in today's showcase are the ones in front of you. So these are White Pearl, Ancient Copper, Scarlet Mist, Rich Gold, Silver Dream, Peacock Green, Aqua Lagoon, Emerald Green and Purple Violet. Now that's actually a really good colour selection, and if you're new to Pixie Powders, that's a really good place to start off. There are more available, and we do have more in store and online for you to choose from, but they're certainly a good colour palette that I would urge you to start off with. If you haven't seen Pixie Powders before, we do actually have a really good video available on our YouTube page, or channel I should call it, sorry, that is called The Introduction to Pixie Powders, and that takes you through loads of different techniques that you can do with these. We'll chat a little bit today about what I've done with some of them, but I would urge you to go and watch that video, because it will certainly put you on the right track on knowing how to use your Pixie Powders, and it's a good time for you to get them while they're on offer. So don't forget that. Do cash in on that while the offer's on. It will end, as I said earlier, at 5 PM on Saturday the 3rd of November 2018, to get them while we've got them. So let's talk a bit more about your stencils and your paste. Now you can today buy all of your moulds and your paste individually, but we do have a mega bundle for you, and the mega bundle is quite a good little money saving bundle this week. It's going to give you 6 different designs of your moulds, or stencils as I keep referring to them, and it will also give you a pot of the paste. Now the recommended retail price for this is £30.63, but as it's a Sunday Showcase offer, it's only £25.99. Now I have done a little bit of research today, and all I could see available in the UK from one company is the paste at £14.95 a pot, and the moulds or stencils are £9.99 each. So you're getting roughly, if you was to buy them from that person, £75 worth of value for just £25.99. And they're identical, same brand, same company, same everything. So I'm hoping that we've really gone and I'm giving you a really good starting price for these products, which is good because we want you to get involved with this. We think that you're going to really love this, and it's a good product for you to get hold of, and we don't want to charge you the air for it. So if you do want your mega bundle, well, of course it is coded as mega bundle, and if you wish to order it via Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, over the phone to one of our stores, or via text message, don't forget, always refer to your codes I'll be giving you today, and we'll know the items you're on about. But of course that one is your mega bundle. If you don't wish to go for all of it, we don't mind. We can't understand. If you just want to dip your toe in and see how you get on, you can buy the items individually. So your paste is available as code paste, and it's just £7.29, which, as I said a moment ago, is literally better than half price compared to the only place I could find it available for sale in the UK today. And then your moulds are all £3.89 each. I'm going to show you 6 different versions, and we're going to start off with code mould 1, which is the cog one. Now I know these can be a bit tricky to see on our actual card here. We've tried to do our best to get them so you can see them, but transparent plastic really isn't the best thing to try and put on a video. I know, silly, isn't it? But sadly we didn't make them. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to show you the projects I've made as we go, so hopefully it'll give you a better idea of the stencils you're looking at. So this is one of the first bits I want to show you. This is one of my first panels that I did. So I've done this obviously using the white paste. It started off white, I didn't mix this one up, it is all white. And as you can see, this one's a bit thicker as well, so it's got good body to it, good strength. And then I've taken it out of my mould once it was dry, and then I've painted over it using the Ancient Copper Pixie Powder. Now briefly with Pixie Powders, if you want to, you can just mix them with water and use them as a good paint. So I've literally painted over the whole of my panel in that colour, just to give me a nice copper undertone. I've waited for that to dry. Well, I didn't actually, I cheated and did it with a hairdryer, but it was dry. And then I went over the top of it again using all of my different colours of Pixie Powders. I know they just firework off, which you'll be able to see on the introduction to Pixie Powder video, which is how you're going to get all these really lovely variants of colours. As I said earlier, I've literally used a little bit of all of the colours we were talking about a little while ago to create these panels. So you will see different hints of shades in them mixed about. And that was really easy. And although this may look like, and I would have thought it would have taken you or me hours to create, taking out the drying time, it actually only takes a couple of minutes. It really isn't that hard to slap the paste in the mould, peel it out of the mould, and then attack it with some paints. It really is quite quick. And I'm quite impressed with these. I'm quite chuffed with these. I hope you'll agree. But I think they look like you've put a lot of work into them. And of course they open up so many ways that we can use them. So obviously on our Sunday showcases we talk a lot about card making, but there's many other different techniques you can do with them. But we'll start off by showing you a card. So what I've done this time is I've taken the panel out of the mould. I've painted it with black acrylic paints. This time I wanted a dark undertone to what I was doing. And then I waited for that to dry, and then I sprinkled over my Pixie Powders to give me all these nice fireworky colours in the background of my panel. I've then gone over the top, highlighting the actual top texture of it using silver gilding wax just to really bring out that pattern. And then I've actually cut these into 2-inch blocks, and it will only take you one panel to do this size card or to create these. And as I say, these are 2-inch squares, and then I've just laid them onto some mats and layered them up to give me that effect. But of course this is quite nice as well, because even if you don't do big cards, this could make quite a nice little square card. If you struggle to do men's cards, this might be really nice. Or if you wanted to put some decoupage on the front of it, maybe you could layer different bits up on top of it. Don't have to keep it as modern and minimalistic as I have with my one. But just so much fun. I really genuinely have really enjoyed playing around with these. And then I also quite like the idea of doing different bottles and bits. Now the actual company themselves do a lovely video showing you how to do some bottles. So I've stolen all their ideas. I'm going to tell you all about them. So this is actually a TCP bottle. A proper bona fide TCP, normal brown bottle, white lid kind of setup. Now, full disclosure on these, another place I've stolen my ideas from, if I confess, is a lovely lady who I have come to my lessons, a lady called Lynn Lewis, made me a really cute little like pear-shaped bottle about 3 years ago now on a nautical theme, and I've loved that bottle. It sits in my bathroom and it has done ever since I got it, and I've always wanted to have a go at it, but to be fair, I think Lynn put a lot more effort into hers than I have with mine, which is a good thing. She actually moulded all of her bits out of clay. That looks absolutely stunning. But this is a really good place for you to start, and something that I didn't think I'd be able to do, but I've really enjoyed playing about with because it's so easy. So on this bottle, my boring TCP bottle, out of date TCP actually, from where I cleared out my medical cabinet the other day and found out that it went out of date about 3 years ago. I've got rid of that, and it still smells though. And I have taken my panel, I've wrapped it around my bottle, and I've actually used some really good glue that we'll chat about in a minute so I could mould this up and around the top of the lid. I've then painted all over the whole bottle all the way around using brown acrylic paint, and that left me with the lid untouched. So while I waited for that to dry, I've taken some string and I've wrapped it around my very boring white lid, as I showed you earlier, just an ordinary white lid. And I've wrapped the string all the way around it, gluing it as I went with a glue gun until I got to the top of it. And then I've used these flowers, which you get 4 in a packet. Now, we've sold these for a couple of years. You get 4 metal flowers in a packet. They're usually £1.69, but this week we've managed to negotiate a bit of a better price, so they're now reduced to just £1. And there's a few different versions. These I'll be showing you today, and that is why we've got them, so do get them while we have, but they will be staying around for £1 for quite a while, so a good time to get them and stock up. But you actually get 4 different layers, and I've taken mine, I've cut them about a bit, and I've shaped them up to make my little 3D sort of top to my bottle. More of a medallion style thing than a flower maybe now, but still very pretty. And then I'd painted that again using my brown acrylic. So everything was brown, and then I wanted to colour it. So I've literally screwed it all back together and attacked it with Pixie Powders. Again, getting some really nice, interesting results and patterns. I've waited for that to dry, and then I've gone over it again using my silver gilding wax just to highlight all the different patterns on here. And that's how I've made my little bottle. Now, one of the bits I really like about these is how inexpensive they are. You use such a little amount of the paste, you use such a little amount of the Pixie Powders, even the gilding wax, but yet you've created something that hopefully, you might not like this design or this style, but we'll see different ones as we go through today, but something that was inexpensive, that especially if you are people who are selling online or in stores even, or maybe at craft fairs, these might make nice little gifts that you could actually pop out and sell that haven't cost you the world to make, and you could even make them coordinate with the matching cards if that's something you wanted to do. Or if not, you don't of course have to make bottles, you could make little boxes and bits like that and wrap these around, and we'll get to see more of them ideas as we go forward. But while we are looking at one of the bottles, I want to talk to you about the glue I used. This is a brand new glue that we've had come in store in the last couple of weeks, and I've been itching to come up with a reason to use it. And I had a little read of it and decided that this would be a good one to use to get my actual panels to stick to my glass. And it's brilliant. It's a really nice quick drying tacky glue. It's only $1.99 a tube, and they're quite big tubes, but I found it gave me the manoeuvrability that I needed to actually get my panels in place, but it also gave me the strength to get it to stick on there when I wanted it to, and dried relatively quickly so I could get on with attacking it with my paints. Now, one tip I would give you, if you are going to do these around bottles, have some elastic bands to hand, and once you've put your glue on and you've got them on there, put a few elastic bands around it while it dries. Even with like the bits you want to flap over at the top here, run your elastic bands around it in any direction you can, and it saves you sitting there forever holding it in place, and it shouldn't damage anything that you've got going on from your panel or anything else, and it just helped me out a little bit, so that might help you too. So that concludes what we're going to talk about for mould number one, which is your cog mould, which is only £3.89. So let's have a look at mould number two. Mould number two is our Flourish mould. This one again is only £3.89, and as you can see, we've got some really nice music notes going on in the background here, and then this nice big flourishy part down the front. So we're going to start off by looking at one of our cards to begin with. So this one was really quick and easy. I've actually left it sentimented, so it could be for any occasion, or you could add that on if you wanted to, but I just wanted to really show you how beautiful the panel is on its own. So I've done mine in my mould. I haven't cut the edge off because I actually quite like showing you that you could be a bit messy. They don't have to be exact around the edge, but if you want to, as I show you, you can easily cut it, but I wanted it a bit off centre maybe, or not quite neat, you know, a bit more rough and ready. So with this one I've left it white, and then I've just attacked it with Pixie Powders. I didn't paint it with anything to begin with. It's literally fresh out the mould, and I've just attacked it with all my different colours of Pixie Powders to give me that really nice pearlescent finish. And then I've just added a die cut on the top here to hopefully pull out some of the rich gold undertones, and then layered it on some gold, white and black card just to make it pop. But it's a really quick card, again done in minutes from once the mould is dry, but hopefully something that you think is a bit modern and a bit different. Then last week we were playing around with these. Now I absolutely love these. These are our little plaques. They're only £1.85. They're of course available in store or online. They come to you flat packed, so it's up to you to glue them into place. Once you're ready to, you might want to decorate them a bit before you do so, which is actually quite handy. So what I did with my one is I took my panel, I left it white as it had come out of the mould, I stuck it onto my actual plaque, and then I painted my black quite a light blue all over the top of it. At the same time I took my tree and I painted my tree white. Now if you haven't seen the trees before, this is actually an MDF tree, and we have loads of MDF shapes available online or in store, and this is just one of the ones I'd got to hand. So I've painted it white, I've let it all dry, and then I've just brushed over using the blue paint over my tree like you would gilding wax, literally just a little bit here and there. And then over the plaque I've taken some white paint and I've brushed that over the top of the textured panel and just around the woodworky bits, just to give it a bit of a sort of a a whitewashy sort of nautical-ish style theme. And then I've just added a couple of die cut butterflies on here as well. And these were just out of white cardstock, so I've taken a bit of the blue and rubbed that over them as well, just to try and tone it down. A few little pearls and that was it done. It's nothing impressive, but hopefully it shows you how you could take these plaques and dress them up. You could even put sentiments on them for different occasions. Or I've left the back of my one plain, but you could put something on there maybe. You could even add in a photograph possibly if you wanted to. You could really, really dress these up however you want to really. But I just think they're good fun. So that was just a different way to show you that you could use this panelling. So that concludes what we're going to be looking at for mould number 2, which is your Flourish design, which is £3.89 of course. Then moving on, we're going to look at mould number 3. This one is we're going to call Lattice. Now it's only called Lattice for this little tiny bit here, but some of the moulds are a bit close, so it's whatever we could pin a word to we're going with. So this one is Lattice. So for the first card I want to show you, this is really, really quick. I've just done my mould, obviously using my paste. I've let it dry, I've popped it out, and then I took a black Memento ink pad and just rubbed it over the top of it. Now this is really good because sometimes you might try this effect with embossing folders, but because of you've got open work in your embossing folder, the ink is going through and you might end up with patches in there. Yes, you can try with brayers and yes, that might help you, but it doesn't always work. With these, because of the impression is so deep, the ink pad simply can't get through to get to the bottom layer. So even if you have got open bits, you're still going to glide over the top of it simply because it's too deep to get to. So I thought that was quite a fun way to work. It also shows me that if I wanted to, I could be using distress inks on these as well. I haven't on today's cards, but you certainly could use different blending inks and bits like that with them as well. If the Memento, which is a dye ink, is drying, it means that they pretty much all should. So there's different techniques you could do with them as well. So that was our first card for this one. And then we have another bottle. Now I am a bit bottle obsessed, and I quite like the idea of turning these into vases, or I even quite like the idea of putting candles in the top of them, which again, if you was going to be selling these, it might be quite nice to set that up on your table or in your photographs so people could see the different uses to do with your bottles. But this of course is using the Lattice panel. So I've taken my panel, I've stuck it onto my bottle. This is actually a Smirnoff vodka bottle, if you're sitting at home wondering what type of bottle I'd got. And no, I didn't drink it, which makes it even worse. I don't drink, so I'm really boring. But it is one that I'd managed to steal. I don't know if I've confessed this before, but I'm very lucky. My partner owns a restaurant, so I often get to steal empty bottles. I have a bit of a thing for bottles, which sounds really weird, I know. But I've had him collecting for the last couple of weeks because I knew this product was coming up and I wanted some bottles ready. So hence how I've got my hands on this one in particular. So anyway, back to it. I've taken my panel, I've stuck it on, and then I've painted the whole bottle black using just black acrylic paint, just standard black acrylic. I've let that dry, and then I have attacked it with Pixie Powders from top to bottom. And I really went quite nuts with the water. I actually let this stand up, that's why I did it, because I wanted the water and the Pixie Powders to actually cascade down it, so that you've got little pits of your Pixie Powders in the different parts of your patterns, and so that you've got sort of the stroke marks as the water's gone down, taking the Pixie Powders on the dry parts as well. And I quite like that. I thought that looked quite effective. You could certainly add a bow to it if you wanted to, or maybe some ribbons around here as well. And as I said, you could certainly dress up a candle or flowers coming out the top of it if you wanted to. But it's a really nice way for you to see how pretty that Lattice mould is if you did want a Pixie Powder, that one. So that's going to conclude what we're going to talk about for mould number 3, which is your Lattice, £3.89. Moving on to mould number 4. This one is your lace mould, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. Don't forget, this is the one that I show you, that sort of dusky pink panel that we're done by colouring the paste with the Pixie Powders earlier. But I also wanted to show you that, again, if we are going to be using this for card making, it could make some really nice monochrome cards or white work cards by just actually leaving it alone. You don't have to colour it, you don't have to do anything with it. So this is just really quick layering on some white and black card. Added a little ribbon around the middle, sentiment and a die cut butterfly. Again, made in minutes, but hopefully gives it quite a nice effect and really shows off just how beautiful that mould is. Now, if you do want to dress this up a bit more, if you're thinking, well, that's all right, but it's a bit plain, I have a bottle for you instead. I am a bit bottle obsessed, I am warning you. This one is a gin bottle. But again, one I've stolen from Pete's restaurant. It was empty. Once again, I didn't get any of this one either. But I've taken my panel, I've wrapped it around, I've glued it on. This time I painted the whole bottle just a light pink, like a light dusky pink. And then I've gone over the top of it using some silver gilding wax and highlighted all of my design. I've even tried to highlight the ridges in the bottle and actually my paint marks as well, because I really wanted to pick up all them different textures. I've then taken some tassels and wrapped them around the bottle lid to just hang down. I've added a bow. I've made a little button to go on there. I've stuck a gem on the top here, and I've sunk different crystals into different parts around the pattern as well. And that's how it's made. Really, really simple again. But again, might be quite nice even if you didn't want the lid for your candle or your flower, as a vase on your desk maybe, something along them lines. So lots of different reasons you might wish to have one of these about. So that is what we're going to talk about for mould number 4, which was your lace design, £3.89 once again. And then we're going to move on to mould number 5. Now this one's our bodice design. Now I didn't get as much time to work with this one as I wanted to, but it is a really lovely design. And one of the bits I like about this is there's nothing stopping you just cutting out the bodice. So this is just part of the bodice. I didn't even keep all of it. I've just sort of cherry picked the areas I wanted, and I've cut it out, and then I've pixie powdered over the top of it. So once again, it did start off white, but I've just really gone to town with my pixie powders, and I think that makes quite a nice embellishment to go on your cards or your home decor or just about anything really. And it's quite nice because it's symmetrical. So if for any reason you wanted to hang these in the opening of a card or turn them into some sort of hanging decoration, you could of course stick them back to back and put a bit of ribbon in the middle of them if you wish to give you that option as well. Then onto my bottle for this one. Again, we've got a different type of gin bottle. I think this one was something like sapphire. Very lovely bottle. But this time I've taken my panel, I've wrapped it around it again using that Wonder Glue, and then I've painted it all in just a mint green, and then I've actually gone over it using my Pixie Powders, this time Ancient Copper. I've painted in the bodice part, and then I used my Pixie Powders a bit like you would gilding wax. Instead of gilding wax, I loaded my, actually you can still see the stain, the copper, I've lost the name now, Pixie Powders, and mixed it with a bit of water, and then just brushed it on with my fingertip over all of the pattern to highlight the pattern. So you don't have to have gilding wax to do that with if you don't want to. And again, I've gone around my bottle trying to pick up the brush marks as well. And then I've sunk little pearls into the dots on the bodice and into the centres of the cogs as well. And then I've kept the actual wooden lid as it was because I thought that went in quite nice with the colour scheme for the bottle. I've added in a sort of tanny brown bow, and then I've used more of them flowers. This is actually the same design flower as we looked at a little while ago, so just another one of them, but this time with a little pearl in the middle of it instead. And then with this same bodice mould, this one I actually did in purple. So this is taking the Pixie Powders again and mixing it in with the paste to actually make the paste a colour, and then put it into my mould. And I actually did this one using the purple violet Pixie Powder, and then when it come out of the mould, I've just gone over the top using the silver gilding wax this time, just to highlight the design, and maybe stuck onto a piece of mirror board and layered. That can make quite a pretty card, but to be quite honest with you, I just ran out of time. I didn't quite get to finish that one, but I do think between all the different things you can do with the bodice mould, it might be one that you're really going to appreciate having to play with your paste. So that, of course, was mould number 5, your bodice. And then let's move on to mould number 6. Now, butterflies are always one of the most popular things we have whenever we're talking about them, whether it's papers, ribbons, stickers, dies, doesn't matter. Butterflies are always one of the first items to go. So if you are going to be cherry picking your stencil designs, or even if you're going for your mega bundle, do get in quickly because I think this one's going to be quite a popular one. Now, your butterfly mould, of course, is only £3.89, and we're going to start off by showing you the card I made for this one. So this time, again, I've used the base as just white. I've left it alone, I've let it dry, then I've brought it out, and I've actually just pixie powdered all over the top of it when it was white. So no painting, no undertone this time, just full straight onto the white. Now, I really liked the way the Pixie Powders dried, but it did lose a bit with the pattern. I didn't quite get to see the butterfly or all of the flourishy bits. So I've just gone over with a copper gilding wax this time, just to try and highlight a bit of that design. It's a bit of a goldy copper colour. And then I've just layered it on some gold card, added a ribbon, and again, a really quick, simple card. Again, hopefully, to the untrained eye, I might be able to trick people into thinking that it's something that's taken me hours and hours of work to do and very artsy, when in reality it was just lots of throwing a Pixie Powders in 2 minutes and it was done. So, which is quite nice, because it's quite nice to be able to trick people into thinking we've done lots and lots of work when we really, really haven't. And then this one, as I said earlier, you don't have to do all of these bottles. You might think I'm bonkers with these bottles, and if you do, that's absolutely fine. Why not make some little boxes? So this is actually a cheese box, if I remember rightly. Again, it's something I've stolen off my other half, who has the restaurant. So I think it was either cheese or wine, something odd come in it that I've managed to steal it from. But it's just a little wooden box. And I've basically taken it, I've painted it in a navy blue. I've taken my panel, my butterfly panel, I've put that on here again, painted over that in navy blue. And then I've just gone over the whole thing using some copper gilding wax to highlight my design again. I've added on a different type of metal flower here for just a little bit of an embellishment. So they're the same ones that we were talking about earlier that are now reduced to just £1 a packet, but they're more like a rosebud and they're ready made for you. So you're going to get 4 of them in a pack for £1. And then beside them you'll see these ones. This is a different style of flower. Same sort of size as them ones we were looking at earlier, but a different style to the actual petal. And with these ones, I've actually turned them into feet. I've bent them back on themselves and glued them onto the bottom of my box just to actually make little feet for it to stand on, because I quite like the idea when boxes have feet. I think it just looks a bit more expensive and a bit more intended for its purpose. I've then added a little ribbon pulley, just using some sheer ribbon and some satin ribbon. And I've used the same satin ribbon to go around the box, just to hopefully tie it all together. But I quite like little boxes, and especially whereas Christmas is just around the corner, these might be nice little ideas that you could be thinking of to dress up for your loved ones as little stocking fillers and bits like that. And of course, if you don't have these bottles and boxes to hand, then we have some amazing MDF kits in store. Anything from tissue boxes to bird cages to all different styles of bits like that that you can purchase online or in store, that you could really be working with this product too to create some really lovely effects, hopefully. So let's do a quick run through of your offers, just in case you've forgot about them already, or if you want to take note of the ones you'd like. So we'll start off with our last mould that we looked at, which was mould number 6. That one, of course, is your butterfly one, which is £3.89. We then show you mould number 5, the bodice one, which of course is £3.89. You've then got mould number 4, which is your lace one, which is £3.89. And then you've got mould number 3, Lattice, which is £3.89. And mould number 2, Flourish, which is £3.89. Then lastly we have mould number 1, which is the cog design, which of course once again is just £3.89. And if you'd like to, you can buy the paste on its own. The paste is just £7.29. If you would like to save more, then of course you can buy the mega bundle, and I have a feeling this will sell out pretty quickly. So don't hang about, do get it while we've got it. The mega bundle once again should be £30.63, but it's only £25.99. And then lastly, your last offer this week, of course, is the Pixie Powder offer. Now, hopefully after seeing a few of the ways that you can use Pixie Powders, you too will have fallen in love with these. So your Pixie Powder offer is, of course, they should be £3.49 each, but they're reduced to just £2.79 each for this week and this week only. Don't forget, all of the offers do end at 5 PM Saturday, the 3rd of November. Now, just a couple of things to clarify. If you do wish to order these items online, this is really easy. Everything is pictured online individually or in their offers, so you can pop on there and order them whenever you wish to. If you spend over £35 on your shopping with us within the UK, they will be posted to you absolutely free of charge. If you spend less than £35, then it's just a flat rate of £2.75 for your parcel to be sent to you. If you wish to shop with us internationally, that's no problem. We send parcels all over the world all of the time. We're actually trialling a brand new system for our international postage, and it hopefully will help save you a few pennies. P&P internationally is just a flat rate of £10. If we manage to get your postage cheaper than £10, then we refund the difference. If it is over £10, then don't worry. Here at Craftmania, we actually pay that for you. The average of our international shipping tends to be about £14 to £15. So of course that means you're still only paying £10 and we are picking up the rest of that bill for you. It is a trial system, so do be prepared that it may change in the next few weeks, but certainly at the moment, get in and get it while you can, and get these bits sent to you as cheaply as we can possibly do it. If you've enjoyed looking at all the different projects I've shared with you today, they will all be pictured on our Pinterest page, and you can go on there and actually pin your favourite ideas so that you can go back to them at any time. Equally, if you've enjoyed today's video and you're watching us via Facebook or YouTube, we really appreciate it if you give us a thumbs up so we know that we're doing a good job and that you've enjoyed today's video. If you're going to give us a thumbs down though, you do have to tell us why. That's cheeky if you don't admit to us what's wrong with it. So we always appreciate feedback, and it means that we can make your next video better, hopefully. Once again, if you are watching us on YouTube, if you could click subscribe, that means the world to us. We are desperately trying to clamber up for our numbers, and we're doing very, very well, and appreciate every subscriber that we receive. So please don't hesitate to hit subscribe. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I will be back next Sunday when I've got more offers and new products to share with you. Until then, I'll see you then. Bye for now.